Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma, where healing and mamahood intersect. I'm Emily, your host. Join us as we discover practical strategies to nurture ourselves with kindness and understanding. Stay tuned for insights and inspiration to support you on your path of healing and growth. Let's dive in together. This is Mamahood After Trauma. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I am so honored that you have taken some time out of your busy day to tune in and listen to the podcast. This week, we have a very special guest. Monica was a speaker at our November 2024 Mamahood After Trauma Symposium. And the wisdom that she shared during the symposium was absolutely amazing. If you are a mama who has, like me, dealt with infertility and struggle from the trauma that results from infertility, because it is traumatic. This talk is for you. So Monica is a therapist specializing in anxiety and trauma treatment, with a deep passion for helping individuals navigate the challenges of mental health. Drawing from her own personal journey, she understands firsthand the emotional toll of life's unexpected turns, having faced infertility and the heartbreak of losing a child after a birth mother changed her mind. This experience, coupled with her extensive clinical expertise, fuels Monica's commitment to providing compassionate, integrative care to her clients. Through her practice, she offers tools and support for managing anxiety, building resilience, and fostering healing. Monica also engages in public speaking and creates accessible mental health resources, including podcasts, workbooks, and online courses, all aimed at reducing the stigma around mental health and making therapeutic strategies available to a wider audience. I love that mission. We here at Mamahood After Trauma are on that same mission. So in this empowering talk, Monica explores how unresolved childhood wounds can impact motherhood and offers practical strategies for healing and breaking generational patterns. With a compassionate approach, Monica guides mothers through understanding their own emotional triggers and developing healthier ways to connect with their children. By focusing on self-compassion, mindfulness, and emotional regulation, mothers will learn how to show up as their best selves, fostering a nurturing and supportive environment for their families. This talk provides tools for healing the past so you can be fully present and confident in your parenting journey. Monica's talk goes hand in hand with a brand new freebie that I have just launched on my website, mamahoodaftertrauma.ca. You can get yours for free in the show notes. It is a trigger awareness guide, and what the trigger awareness guide helps you to do is become more aware of your triggers, because as trauma survivors, we're often not aware of our triggers because they've become normal for us, right? And now that we are faced with raising kids, our triggers and how we coped with them previously doesn't work. So now we have to figure out a new way to do it. And the Trigger Awareness Guide helps you to increase your awareness so that you can create an action plan and healing plan to move forward with, to create that peaceful, calm home environment for you and your kiddos. As I said, that is free for you on my website, mamahoodaftertrauma.ca. But for now, you can enjoy Monica's talk.
What if the journey to motherhood is nothing like the stories we're told? What if instead it is filled with the loss, grief, and the courage to keep going? How do you redefine motherhood when life doesn't go according to plan and your heart has been broken in ways no one could prepare you for? I always thought motherhood would be the one thing in life that would come easy for me. After all, reproduction is something that we're just supposed to be able to do if we're a woman, right? Get married, wait the requisite 3 years, and then get pregnant. After the first, wait another 1 or 2 years and have another. Repeat this pattern until you're done having children. Easy, right? I'm here to share my personal journey, one that at times felt almost unbearable, a journey that many women may not speak about openly but silently struggle through. My story is about infertility, adoption, and the trauma that comes with hopes and dreams that shatter when life takes an unexpected turn. I always wanted to have children. From a young age, I envisioned the future filled with tiny footprints running through the house, bedtime stories, and the unconditional love between a mother and a child. But life doesn't always unfold the way that we imagine. When my husband and I began talking about building a life together, kids were always a main part of it. We were going to have three. He was going to work, and I was going to be a stay at home mom. 3 years into our marriage, we began trying to conceive. For the first few months, we thought nothing of it when I wasn't pregnant. But as time went on, we decided to go get checked out, just to see. I remember the outfit I was wearing, what I was doing, and the time of year when I got the call from the doctor. It was Christmas time, and I was getting ready to go shopping, an activity that I always loved doing. Hearing the sounds and seeing the sights of Christmas always filled me with a lot of joy. But just as I was about to leave, the doctor called. While she said there was nothing wrong with me that she could find, my husband's sperm count was low and she suggested that getting pregnant might become difficult. She said it to me like she was ordering takeout for dinner with no regard to the weight of her words on my heart. This news was the catalyst of the next 5 years of our lives. We went to a bunch of infertility specialists, knowing that the only hope we had in conceiving were infertility treatments. Over the next 5 years, we did 6 IUIs and 3 IVFs. Within that time, so many of the women around me were getting pregnant. So many times I found myself stuck in a circle of women talking about their children or their pregnancies. So many times I was expected to go to baby showers and be happy for other women who were living my dream. Because when you are a young woman who has been married for any length of time, you cannot hide from these conversations. You cannot stop these questions and these invites. All the while, I just painted a picture of happiness on my face because people don't talk about infertility. In their discomfort, the common advice I would hear is, at least you're going to have fun trying. At one point, a friend of mine even thought it would be funny to call me infertile myrtle. But it wasn't funny, and it wasn't fun trying. Sex became calculated, saved for the 3 days that I was primed to conceive. There was no more fun. Sex became a symbol and reminder of what I couldn't have. The infertility treatments were financially draining, physically uncomfortable, and emotionally brutal. For 5 years, my whole world revolved around my ovulation cycle. I refused to make future plans because what if I'm pregnant? I didn't think about anything else except getting pregnant. After 5 years of trying, we conceded. My body couldn't handle any more treatments, nor could my mental state. But I didn't really know how to face the world anymore. I was devastated, crushed under the weight of what I couldn't have. What I dreamed about my entire life seemed to slip through my fingers in a matter of moments. For a woman, the experience of infertility can feel like a betrayal by your own body. It's not just the loss of a dream, it's a loss of identity. I felt broken. As a woman, society teaches us that part of our purpose is to create life. And when I realized that I couldn't, it felt as if I had no purpose. It felt as if I was less than, I wasn't whole anymore. I couldn't be the woman I thought I was meant to be. The grief was intense, and it wasn't just about not being able to conceive. It's a silent pain of watching friends, coworkers, and even strangers on social media celebrating their pregnancies and baby showers. You try to be genuinely happy for them, but every announcement feels like a dagger to your heart. Every "when are you going to have kid" question at family gatherings becomes harder to answer. Infertility is lonely. It's an experience that's hard to talk about because it touches on something so deeply personal. And for a long time, I kept that pain to myself. I didn't want to admit that I felt less worthy as a woman, and I was afraid of the judgment or pity that might come if I opened up about my struggles. For a while, my husband and I tried to live without children. We tried to actively be in an environment and envision our lives without having any kids. We even joined a non kid group, whatever that is. And we found that all they did was bash kids. And we realized, well, we don't hate children. We just wonder what it would be like not to have them because we didn't think that we were going to be able to. I mean, who does 3 in vitros and 6 IUIs and turns up not pregnant? But we did this for about 6 months. And then we decided this isn't for us. We have to find a way to be parents. And I realized I need to be a mother. And if I can't do it biologically, I need to look at other ways. My husband and I started exploring adoption. For the first time in a while, I felt a glimmer of possibility. Maybe I could still become a mother. Maybe the universe had another plan for me. After months of paperwork, home studies, and anxious waiting, we were matched with a birth mother. We were ecstatic. We prepared our home, decorated a nursery, and imagined the future with a little baby in our arms. And soon enough, our son Charlie was born. I remember holding him in my arms for the first time, overwhelmed with love and joy. It felt like the universe was finally healing the deep wounds I carried. For 2 days, we were a family. For 2 days, I allowed myself to believe that I was finally a mother. But then the unthinkable happened. 2 days after we brought Charlie home, his birth mother changed her mind. In an instant, everything was taken away. I remember the moment in slow motion. It was like a Lifetime movie. I was in the kitchen boiling water for a bottle when the phone rang. As soon as I picked up, it was a voice on the other end that said, "These are the phone calls that I hate making." It was a social worker letting me know that Charlie was no longer my baby and that the social worker was coming to take him away the next day. I dropped to the I dropped the phone and I fell to the floor along with it. My husband had to pick it up and finish the conversation. The dream I had clung to for so long was once again shattered. That night, I had my first panic attack. I couldn't breathe. And the worst part is, I didn't feel like I could grieve the loss of my child because he wasn't really mine, anyways. I didn't feel I had the right to share with other people who had lost a baby because they would judge me, thinking that I couldn't understand because it's not like Charlie was ever really mine. Just like infertility, the loss of a child through adoption was something I felt I had to carry in silence. But Charlie wasn't just an idea or a hope. I was not a glorified babysitter. He was real. He was in my arms. And then, just like that, he wasn't anymore. We had already bonded. We had already loved him. The loss felt unbearable. After losing Charlie, I was consumed by grief. The emptiness felt even deeper than before. I had come so close to being a mother, only to have it all slip away again. It's hard to describe what it feels like to experience the kind of loss twice: the loss of the ability to conceive, and then the loss of a child we thought was ours. I questioned everything: my worth, my purpose, my faith, my ability to keep going. How much heartbreak could one person endure? But slowly, I began to realize something important. My worth as a woman was not tied to my ability to have a child. It took a lot of time, reflection, and therapy to get to that point, but I eventually came to understand that being a mother wasn't the only way I could nurture and love. My identity wasn't tied to this one role that I couldn't fulfill. I wish I could tell you that healing from this trauma was easier, that I woke up one day and everything was fine. That's not how trauma works. It's a journey. Some days are better than others, and there are still moments when I feel that pain unexpectedly. But what I learned through all of this is that vulnerability is a part of the healing process. I had to allow myself to grieve, to feel the pain, and to talk about it. Infertility and the loss of a child are traumas that many people experience, but too often we keep these stories locked inside. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that motherhood isn't defined by biology, and being a woman isn't defined by whether or not I have children. Being a woman is not defined by whether anybody has children. We are defined by so much more. There are many ways to nurture and love, and those acts of love are just as meaningful, just as impactful. I may not have children of my own, but I am still capable of giving so much to the world. We as women are often put in boxes, told that there is a certain way we should live our lives, a checklist we should follow. But our value goes so far beyond those boxes. We are more than our ability to conceive. We are more than mothers, wives, or daughters. We are whole, valuable, and strong. Even when life doesn't go the way that we planned. My story isn't just about loss, it's about resilience. It's about the human spirit's ability to endure even the most painful experiences and find a way to move forward. It's about redefining what it means to be whole, to be worthy, and to live a meaningful life. After Charlie, we went through the adoption process again, this time successfully. We adopted our son Jacob. He's 16 now. We took him home from the hospital at 3 days old. After we got him home, someone said to me, "You don't want a baby shower, do you?" Now, I knew the answer to that leading question was supposed to be no, but the mere question implies the bias that women who adopt are not looked at the same as women who don't. So I said, "Hell yeah, I want a shower. I'm a mother. I'm finally a mother." And no societal construct is going to tell me otherwise. When I brought Jacob home, I knew he was mine. I knew the same way that a pregnant woman knows that that child she is carrying is hers. I had the same fears, the same joys, and the same struggles as every mother has had. But I had more than that. I had the compassion and overwhelming gratitude for the mother who relinquished her rights to parent so that I could have mine. The mother who places their child into someone else's arms, trusting that we could give their biological baby the support and love that she couldn't at the time, is the pure essence of what motherhood is. I think about her often, and I tell Jacob about her all the time. I know that if I didn't go through all of the things I went through, that I wouldn't have Jacob, but that doesn't make it any easier, and it doesn't make me feel better. Some people struggle with infertility for a short time and then are able to conceive, and some of us live with it for a lifetime. Infertility is a part of my story, not just a pit stop at the road of life. I will always be sad when I haven't been able to experience pregnancy. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my story, it's this. No matter what you've been through, no matter how broken you feel, you are still whole. Your worth is not defined by what you can or cannot do. It's defined by the love you give, the resilience you show, and the courage it takes to heal. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune in to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. If you would like more of the Mamahood After Trauma community, make sure to look in the description of this episode for the link to become a Mamahood After Trauma Inner Circle member. Until next time, Mama, keep